Hello, future doctors. Welcome to Synapse, your ultimate NEET learning platform. Today, we are diving deep into an intriguing biological phenomenon, plasmolysis. Ever wondered why plants wilt when exposed to too much salt? Plasmolysis holds the answer. We'll explore this concept from its basic definition to its complex cellular mechanisms, all across 4 levels of difficulty: easy, medium, hard, and hardest. Let's embark on this fascinating journey. Ready to unravel the mystery of shrinking cells? Let's start with the basics of plasmolysis. It's simpler than you think. Imagine a plant cell. Plasmolysis is what happens when its living contents, called the protoplast, shrink and pull away from the rigid cell wall. This occurs because the cell loses water. It's a unique process mostly seen in plant cells, unlike animal cells which might just shrivel. The cell wall is key here, as it maintains the overall shape even when the inside shrinks. So, how does this water loss happen? It's all thanks to osmosis. When a plant cell is in a very concentrated solution, like salty water, the water inside the cell moves out to the external environment. This movement is from an area of high water concentration to low. As water leaves, the cell loses its internal pressure, and you see the protoplast visibly shrinking away from the cell wall. Think of a plant wilting dramatically after being watered with too much salt. That's plasmolysis in action. Time to test your basic understanding. Try these 3 questions. What is the main reason for the protoplast to shrink? In what type of solution does plasmolysis occur? And can you think of a simple everyday example? Pause the video, think, and challenge yourself. Now, let's build on that foundation. We'll explore the deeper why and how of plasmolysis, diving into the science of solutions and cellular stages. Plasmolysis is fundamentally driven by osmosis, the movement of water across a semi-permeable membrane. This movement is governed by water potential. Water always moves from a region of higher water potential to lower. We categorize solutions into 3 types: hypertonic, where water leaves the cell causing plasmolysis; isotonic, where there's no net water movement; and hypotonic, where water enters, making the cell turgid. Understanding these solutions is crucial to grasping plasmolysis. Plasmolysis isn't an instant event. It progresses through distinct stages. First, we have incipient plasmolysis, where the protoplast just begins to detach, and the cell loses all its turgor pressure. Then comes evident plasmolysis, where the protoplast visibly shrinks and pulls further away. Finally, in complete plasmolysis, maximum water is lost, and the protoplast is fully shrunken. Recognizing these stages helps us understand the severity of water stress on a plant cell. Beyond just a cellular process, plasmolysis has real-world importance. It's the scientific principle behind age-old food preservation methods like salting meat or pickling, where high concentrations draw water out of spoilage microbes. It's also used in agriculture for weed control. In the lab, plasmolysis helps us estimate the osmotic potential of plant cells. These applications highlight its practical relevance in biology and beyond. Alright, let's challenge your medium-level understanding. Explain the link between water potential and plasmolysis. Can you differentiate between incipient and evident stages? How does plasmolysis help preserve food? Tackle these 5 questions and solidify your knowledge. Ready to push your understanding further? Let's analyze plasmolysis with greater depth, connecting it to complex physiological concepts and ecological roles. At a harder level, we understand plasmolysis through the lens of water potential components, solute potential and pressure potential. As water leaves the cell, the solute potential becomes more negative, and critically, the pressure potential drops to 0, leading to the loss of turgor pressure. This loss makes the cell flaccid, causing the plant to wilt. The rigid cell wall allows the protoplast to detach without the entire cell collapsing, a key difference from animal cells. Several factors influence how fast and how much a cell plasmolyzes. The concentration of the external solution is paramount. A higher concentration means faster water loss. Membrane permeability, often enhanced by aquaporins, also plays a role. Cell type, age, and even temperature can affect the process. But here's a crucial point: plasmolysis isn't always a death sentence. If a plasmolyzed cell is quickly moved to a hypotonic solution, it can reabsorb water, swell up, and restore its turgor pressure in a process called deplasmolysis, provided the cell membrane hasn't been irreversibly damaged. Plasmolysis has profound ecological significance. Plants in arid regions or saline soils face constant osmotic stress. Adaptations like accumulating compatible solutes help them lower their internal water potential without harming cellular functions, allowing them to retain water. Halophytes, or salt-loving plants, even sequester excess salts in their vacuoles, preventing harmful plasmolysis. Understanding these survival strategies reveals the incredible resilience of plant life in challenging environments. Now, for some harder questions. How do solute and pressure potentials change during plasmolysis? What's the role of the cell wall? Describe deplasmolysis and its conditions. Discuss factors influencing plasmolysis and its ecological importance. And what are Heckscher strands? Take your time with these 7 thought-provoking questions. Welcome to the hardest level. Here, we'll dissect plasmolysis at its most intricate, exploring molecular mechanisms, biotechnological applications, and competitive exam depth. Prepare for a truly advanced journey. At the molecular level, plasmolysis involves dynamic changes. The plasma membrane doesn't just pull away. It initially maintains connections via thin cytoplasmic threads called Heckscher strands. These are rich in membrane components and cytoskeletal elements. The central vacuole, often the largest compartment, plays a critical role. Its shrinkage due to water loss is the primary driver for protoplast volume reduction, and the properties of its membrane, the tonoplast, are equally important in this complex cellular dance. The speed of water movement during plasmolysis is significantly influenced by aquaporins, specialized protein channels in cell membranes. Their regulation allows plants to fine-tune water transport in response to stress. We can also quantitatively analyze plasmolysis. The incipient plasmolysis method helps us estimate the cell's solute potential by finding the external solution concentration where turgor pressure is 0. This provides a direct measure of the cell's osmotic status, crucial for research and understanding plant physiology. Plasmolysis is not just about stress, it's a cornerstone in biotechnology. It's a vital first step in isolating protoplasts, which are plant cells without their cell walls. By plasmolyzing cells, the protoplast detaches, making it easier for enzymes to remove the cell wall without damaging the cell. These isolated protoplasts are then used in advanced genetic engineering techniques, like fusing different plant cells or introducing new DNA, paving the way for developing improved crop varieties with enhanced traits like drought or disease resistance. While reversible in its early stages, prolonged or severe plasmolysis can lead to irreversible damage and cell death. The extreme dehydration and mechanical stress can compromise the plasma membrane's integrity, leading to leakage and cellular dysfunction. This can even trigger programmed cell death pathways. However, plants have evolved remarkable adaptations, like accumulating compatible solutes or specialized membrane proteins, to resist irreversible damage, showcasing their incredible resilience in the face of environmental challenges like drought and salinity. All right, for the ultimate challenge. Tackle these first 5 hardest questions. Describe structural changes during plasmolysis. How do aquaporins modulate the rate? Explain the incipient plasmolysis method. Discuss compatible solutes. And what are the biotechnological applications? Think critically, connect concepts, and aim for comprehensive answers. And here are the final 5 questions to truly test your mastery. What causes irreversible plasmolysis? How would a more rigid cell wall affect it? Compare xerophyte and mesophyte responses. Propose a scenario for sustainable agriculture using plasmolysis knowledge. And what other biophysical parameters change during plasmolysis? Push your boundaries and apply all you've learned. That wraps up our deep dive into plasmolysis. We've journeyed from basic definitions to advanced cellular and biotechnological insights. Remember, mastering these concepts is crucial for NEET and for a deeper understanding of life itself. For more such comprehensive and engaging content, visit synapse.omaps.in. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more amazing biology content. Keep learning, keep growing, and see you next time.